Yeah, so this is part two of my psychohistory for January 31st, 2023. By the way, yeah, your psychohistory. Well, I defined what that is already in real life, not in science fiction. So yes, that's the right word, which is not negative or positive to a person, the concept of, describing their psychohistory, how things progress in their lives. So look, it is around 10 to 12, and the date is not that one there. And so yeah, the events that I'm predicting will happen to me later today haven't happened yet, okay, even if I post this later. And yeah, you can't know for sure what date it is, and maybe you can put a stamp on it. It doesn't matter to me really, but I mean, one of the reasons I call HsD a theory in the social sciences and humanities that is a grand unification theory, that is theory, is its predictive abilities. So, but just because things are predictable, I've also explained in the past, doesn't make it, pleasant or less unpleasant that I'm a victim of these things. And when I say one of the cures of species alienation, suffering from a great disappointment in my own species that suffer from HsD, is moving along. And for that, you need enough income to move along. Because when there's enough triggers, which is a polite way I used to say, and now I'm saying, I'm leaving an abusive relationship from multiple members of a community who choose to act in a way that is guided by their HsD, which violates my human rights, which does not allow them to see me as who I am, understand it, appreciate it, and accept who I am, right? They can't do that. I've been showing you evidence and data of this a long time. So I just wanted to say I do have a plan B in case, I can't stay in that same place. Or the lady that I said, can I have one night, that I might say later, if she says no, she might not even have a place I can plug in, I don't know. I do have a plan B of some place I stayed before. And I can just give them the same amount of money for that one night. Give me a chance to do some laundry. And also, I want to go get my battery for the motorcycle, which was tested to be charged somewhere, so it'll give me 24 hours to leave. But again, I don't know where I'm going. It's not fun. I didn't plan enough or find a place. Now, I do research to find places. I look for work. I try to make connections. But again, 99.97% of you, can't read or write in English, and that's your only language pretty much, or can't be bothered to look at a resume or whatever it is. Just do this way, blah, blah, blah. We're all sheep here. Don't make us uncomfortable. So, you might say the common denominator is you, Martin. Yes, it is. I refuse to sell my humanity away. But the other common denominator, the one you don't want to talk about, is HsD, that you are all the same. Like, for example, if the lady in the office of the place where I am says, she insists on me saying something, I'm going to say, well, you know why people really aren't comfortable with me is I'm very good at defending my human rights and using reason and critical thinking and the argumentation process to make my point. And it's really, whether they say that's bullshit or they know deep down it's really exactly what happened. So, and they can't cope with that, the reality of a broken image of themselves, right? And of course, everybody is like this, so everybody protects their own false images. So it's, it doesn't really get better when the tipping points have been passed when it comes to accountability, transparency, morals, Oh, hey, here. I don't know if I can read this, but I did find some hope today. And it is page 37 of this book on Sapience, supposedly. But again, it could be that I'm super happy with the book when it's finished. I don't think it's likely, but it could be that I am, because maybe they're just going to use in terms people know to get them to read, and at the end they'll say, well, what did you think about what we think of ourselves as a species, or as our history? Is this accurate to you or not? And of course, if somebody has sentience and sapience and is connected to reality, they'll say, yeah, no, that doesn't reflect those explanations. They're really scientific, and I know that they're the top of the field, but it doesn't really. But anyways, page 37 was really nice. Just give me a second here. Because I'm into this book, right? Here's what it is. So I'm going to read page 37, and this is the only time I saw hope so far, and hope was, for me in this way, comments from a scientist that reflects reality. Okay, that doesn't mean that this character, if she is in the rest of the book, will suddenly be congruent with what she said. You know, that's very, very rare. And congruence is required. You got to walk the talk of an Homo sapien. You can't just put it out there in theory, right? So she says objectively about our species, and all of page 37 is beautiful. But humankind jumped to the top so quickly that the ecosystem didn't have time to adjust. Even humans themselves didn't adjust. Really? How come? I thought we were at the top because nature made such a great job of us. Take a look at the world's great predators. Most of them are magnificent creatures. Millions of years of dominion have filled them with self-confidence. Sapiens is more like some upstart dictator who's always afraid of losing power. Not so long ago, we were the underdogs of the savannah. And by the way, you know, this fits the psychological profile of Jordan B. Peterson. He's got fears, and he engages in so much violent communication that he doesn't realize that he's just a little kid that's afraid of, the wolf here, the lion there, the bank here, the organization there, the other academic here. It's really, his ego is so vulnerable that it's almost like he's built this empire of his brand as an armor, like Iron Man would have done, to not just protect himself and do good, but protect others. And he's convinced of this, Jordan B. Peterson, okay? Our first tools were used to scavenge what was left by majestic lions and ferocious hyenas. And that really helps us understand our history and our psychology. There's two panels left. But I wanted to say that this brings back, okay, let's say 4 solutions. I'm going to give you just one here that would need to be worked on for the extremely unlikely scenario we could reverse the Anthropocene. And it's extremely unlikely, like I almost have to believe in miracles here. But one of them is to re-evaluate our origins and how we have not matured as a species and therefore still act in these insecure little children ways. Because, we never developed certain types of thinking technology to compensate even for something even way before the agricultural revolution or the industrial one is, about 300,000 years ago, just using fire responsibly. I've said this before. It is not seen as a collective way to evaluate our species objectively. And it turns out after this page, which gave me hope, it falls on that topic. Last 2 panels. It explains why we're so stressed and always panicking about our position and also about our resources, even when we have more than 99% of people around us. The millionaires are still afraid, or the billionaires to become millionaires. Can you believe how ridiculously flawed we are as a species? Which makes us doubly cruel and dangerous. A lot of historical calamities, from deadly wars to ecological disasters, resulted from our sudden jump to the top. So she says this, okay, and you would think, I hope, and again, I haven't read this before, okay, but this is the silly pamphlet on page 38. And look at this. This is very important because we have done this, and we kind of continue to do this. We continue to be even lazy with fire, which we are so skilled at controlling, but we are still lazy because of these fears, these insecurities, these addictions to consumption that we burn down everything. It's pretty silly. So I will do a series, and there's so many things I want to say for most pages, but I do want to do a series as part of the human condition description that I'm doing this year with multiple vlogs that I've put online so far. And I do want to read many passages of here just to show how we do not see the human condition objectively, and therefore we have no business, presenting a research paper on ourselves. We suffer from way too many things to make that extremely unscientific as a paper, right?